Hello, and welcome. Apologies for the little bit of a late start. We had some last minute tech stuff. I had to put groceries away. There were things that were done. I also had to commandeer an energy drink so that someone's heart didn't explode. So that is taken care of and done. Welcome back. We've missed you so much, and it's been a long time. Before we jump into our recap, of course, we need to meet our players. So let's do just that, shall we?
Hello there, hello there. This is good old Jason Dorn here for another wonderful session. Here for a session where the most funnest type of fun is going to happen. Don't miss it.
Hi everybody. It's me, Avery, at Avery DeBoy on all the social medias. I'm a community ambassador right here on the Rolling Nomads. And this evening I will be playing the Slick Serpent Erebus Kai.
Hello again, everybody. Warren here playing Victor Belshane. It is a pleasure to see you all again, and I look forward to what we have in store today.
Remember you said that. We'll see how your tune changes throughout the night. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into tonight's episode of Book of Saints. We begin each episode as we always do with a recap. Now it has been quite a while since we've been gracing your TV screens, your mobile devices, whatever form of media you choose to indulge in. So, a collaborative recap, gentlemen.
So, last time, our trap sprung into action as we had a fake David's in the cemetery going down into the crypts after we had found out that he was being catfished by Cammys. They showed up, and sure enough, they went right in after him. And our lovely Jason had done some things. Would you like to tell them?
Oh, yes. I would absolutely love to tell them. I'd love to tell you about all the little bombs we had inside that good old place. I'd love to tell you about all my good old boys, my ghosty boys, who were set up to just attack them in this dark and soon and currently and was fiery place. As the explosions rained, as they were being attacked by ghosts, they did not have a good time. In fact, such a bad time that I believe only all of them went down except for one. One which seemed to have felt so much fear he ran away in a terror frenzy. But luckily, it, we did manage to get the main person, if Erebus wants to talk about that some.
Yeah, for sure. And while Jason was in there, running the Demolition Man special, Victor and Erebus got a hold of, the Toreador Primitive Brat and gave him a double suck off into Torpor. And then we put him in the trunk. After that, we went in, and there were, the dead in the crypt, where Erebus maybe doing a little bit of, that honey-tongued devil nonsense, was gonna try and get Jason to embrace one while he embraced the other. However, Victor shut that down, but not before Erebus finished embracing one of the unfortunate ghouls, who is now in the back seat of the car with Erebus as we drive away to see what more this evening has in store for the cynical saints.
Well done. Indeed, there is a lot to explore tonight. One of the questions burning in your minds as we were preparing for tonight, and as we had left you all, is where were the warriors? And more importantly, where were your other packmates? Where are Monique and Trey? Why did no one come to your aid? Not really that you needed it, but where are they now? And this burning question in your minds, this will be where we find you tonight. Your mission successful. A captive in the back seat. All gathered in the car. Victor, are you taking your motorcycle?
Yes, indeed. But before we go, I'm going to ask Avery or Matt Erebus. Would you please drive so that Jason can send out some messages for me while we're on the road?
I'm not familiar with the operations of these horseless carriages. You'll have to forgive me.
Excellent. Okay. Well, call Felix for me, please, before we take off.
Got it, boss.
Try to find a safe place we can take somebody that's not our haven this time.
I have places if we need somewhere.
Like where?
What would suit your needs? What are you looking for?
0 population, 0 inhabitants. Somewhere where it will be only us and it'll be completely isolated for what we have to do.
Well, that does mark off the Abuelita's root cellar. There's a warehouse I know that we can use. A little bit outside of town. It's empty. It's been empty since I think the 60s or the 70s. I sleep there sometimes.
Sounds good enough. Lead the way. I'll follow you guys.
Erebus will get in the car with Jason and guide the way to the old steel mill.
Understood. Am I to take it that Felix is not being called then?
Yes.
Understood. How far would you say the drive is, Erebus?
Inside of an hour, but more than 30 minutes probably. I mean, it's outside the city proper.
This may seem like a strange question, but I have to ask for some storytelling reasons. North, south, east, or west of where you are currently?
Going towards the border north.
Understood. Jason, I'd like you to make me a drive roll, please.
Yeah, of course.
Dexterity and drive.
Do I need to do that too?
Not
I'm
particularly,
following
no.
them.
No, we
No.
are safe.
Unless there is a strategy for... No, not from you, Victor.
That's gonna be 4 successes.
4 successes.
Oh.
You make your way. It's a relatively quick drive. Again, under an hour, a little bit over 30 minutes. Traffic seems light tonight. It's not too terrible. The only distraction really coming from within the car is the ghoul. There's the thought of him. There's the occasional stir. Not much else. Is there anything that Jason and Erebus discuss along the way or do along the way toward the captive?
I think Erebus, unless Jason has something to say, is predominantly quiet. He'll check the back seat every little while because he doesn't want to have to destroy this thing that he's made before it becomes useful. But if he has to, he has to.
Understood. And I'll ask, for my memory's sake, was he unconscious whenever you guys had captured him, bound him, and all that?
Yeah. I mean, Erebus gave him the blood. And he didn't initially wake up, and then we tied him up and put him in the car.
So you drive, Victor, you follow. This is a interesting situation you find yourselves in. Not interesting in the sense that it is dangerous, but normally, Victor, you would move ahead on the motorcycle. Following behind a vehicle, following behind a car, no less, is a strange thing for you. Speaking as a rider myself, there's a very big difference between following and leading. You kind of are relying on Jason to play road captain in a lot of senses. Luckily, again, there is very little traffic tonight. You make your way. In about 35, maybe 38 minutes, you arrive. Erebus, you may feel free to take narrative control. This steel mill is one of yours.
Yeah, it's It's a large location. Most of the windows are busted out, but they have that slightly thicker glass that was predominant in the 1960s and 1970s. The heavy steel doors are kind of laying lax off their hinges. Not fully broken off, but definitely have sustained some wear and tear over the years that they've been exposed and no one's been working here. It's dark. There are, chains from the equipment hang from ceilings. Most of the equipment's still here, though. With the poverty that's washed through Mexico City and those long decades, a lot of the valuable metals and things have been stripped for scrap by people who are hard-pressed to make a living. It's derelict, and since you all have seen the chalk work that Erebus did around the door frame of the Saint's home, it's not a far leap of logic that you would see that there are similar hieroglyphic marks here. Cold concrete and derelict.
This is the scene you're treated to, Victor, Jason, as you arrive.
This should suit our needs perfectly. Thank you.
Consider it a gift. Now that you've been here, I can never sleep here again.
Wish I would have known that.
Fine.
But
there are many such places as these.
I'm going to start unloading our cargo. Jason, send a text to Trey and Monique. Let them know that we don't need their help at the cemetery anymore. We've moved on. If they respond, then we'll give them more information. And send a text to Derek. Have him do some snooping into the Warriors' Haven with whatever cameras might be nearby.
Sending messages now. Sent.
Again, a strange question for you, Jason. We don't ever really focus on the smaller details of the things you people bring that Kindred keep on their person. But I have to ask you a question. Are you an iPhone man or an Android user?
I would just say iPhone.
Trey hasn't read your messages.
All right. And the message to Derek, if I get a response from him.
It's a reply back. Are you all safe?
We're doing pretty good.
This back just reads, good.
All right. So, you ready to set this up, boss?
Walking in, I know you said there were chains. Are we free to do whatever we want in this place?
There's no one that'll stop you.
Making sure you're good with it since was your place.
As Erebus has removed the restraints from this canite that he's made and is now tying the chain around the ankles together and slowly, using the way the chain is over top of a steel beam to lift him up in the air by his ankles. And we'll just kind of give him a push to make sure it's got good pendulum movement. And
That's exactly what I was gonna do.
And then we'll tie off on the one end.
You do this.
I think if you would like to tie up the Primogen, there's few things more frightening to them than a hungry newborn. They abhor them. I think letting them dangle in the same space may be a good start.
Sounds good. Yeah, I was planning to suspend him just like that, so...
Great minds, Mr. BELLSHANE. Great minds.
It's done in moments. You have your hesitate to say victims just yet, but I suppose we'll see how the night plays out. Scene is yours. You may do what you wish.
One of us should wake him.
I want to double check the blindfold first to make sure it's secured. And I also want to tie something into his mouth.
Would you like to
What
put
is
in his mouth?
around that I can do?
It's a fairly derelict place. You can really have your choice of rubble or steel or all matter of cast off from this place.
Is there like a rebar bar? Do I have the strength to bend a rebar bar?
What is your... How many dots of strength do you have?
3.
I'd allow it with some effort.
And I have lethal body. I don't know if that helps.
I'd allow it.
Yeah. I'm going to take a piece of rebar and just like bend it around his mouth in his teeth so that it can't fall out and he can't spit it out.
You do this.
We have to feed them to wake them.
Yeah. Liquid can get into all kinds of places. I'm going to use gravity, cut myself just a little bit, and let it drip between the bar and his lips.
There's a few moments. Victor, you are an elder. By all manner of speaking, your potency will be enough to wake them. In a few moments, there is movement. Imagine that the eyes are fluttering open beneath the blindfold. There's a bite down on the rebar. A sudden realization that for the time being, their voice is taken from them. Make some sort of sound, but no real information, no real word is given.
Does the scent of Victor's blood rouse this fledgling canite that Erebus has created and now is using as a pendulum?
Indeed. With how close they are, there is a distinct difference of the rousing between this Toreador primogen and this fledgling. Toreador is quiet, subtle, small hints of life or unlife. The fledgling, however, awakes ravenous. Gnashing, you can hear the chains rattling against the steel beam. You can almost feel the air move as they begin to flex and try to break their way away so they can taste the sweet nectar that is Victor's Vitae.
Just give it a little push towards Brett, just close enough that when they reach their hands out to grab them and pull them in, just the tips of the fingers graze Brett's coat.
There's a gnash of teeth, a sudden sort of grunt, a realization from the primogen. There's a bestial sort of call, a howl from the fledgling.
Well, good morning, sunshine.
No response from Brett. You can hear the fledgling call. Correct me if I'm wrong, he's unbound, correct? Not with his mouth, I mean?
Yep.
Oh.
His mouth is free to bite.
There is words from your fledgling Erebus, who calls out, "Feed! Give him to me! Now!"
You're going to have to earn it just like the rest of us. Stay bloodthirsty, my friend.
It's a pained, sort of groaning call. It's a lot like a child whining that they're not getting their way. There's a murderous intent hidden in there.
Erebus will quickly look him dead in the eyes and pop Eyes of the Serpent. You will behave yourself, my child. You'll get to eat soon.
He looks at you, Erebus. There's a special feeling, a moment when a child first truly lays eyes on their maker. I'm not sure this new feeling is maternal or maternal. If it's the want for protection, but there's a flash of realization that that is yours. You have made another. And for this child, it's awe-inspiring and dangling upside down and looking into the eyes of the serpent. It's looking into creation. For all intents and purposes, he's looking at God.
And I will very soon give him an altar to worship at from now time.
He relaxes. He nods. Doesn't ever stop baring his fangs. It's the new sensation when they pop out and they're a little bit too large for your mouth. He's just slack-jawed almost.
Now we're going to play a little game with your old master. And at the end, he will eat. Till then, be patient.
As his eyes drift for a single flashing moment over to Brett Dominguez. Back
Give
to
him
you.
another little push in that direction just to tease him a little bit.
Makes a small noise, a grunt almost, just as he almost instinctually reaches out, craning his neck, trying to catch a graze. Brett has not stopped sort of squirming, we'll say. There's noises again, his mouth is bound, he's unable to speak. You can understand he seems uncomfortable, at the very least.
Go ahead, Victor.
Now, I'm not foolish enough to know that this is going to be easy. But by the time we're done, you're going to tell us every single thing you know. And you're going to beg us to put you out of your misery. And I'm just going to spin him a little bit.
There's a new noise. As he spins, he begins to laugh, perhaps? It's difficult to tell.
Excellent. Keep laughing. So, boys, what should we do here? Melt his face? Pull his eyes out? The tongue's definitely gotta go.
I'll take this moment here, pause our scene for our viewers at home. As you can see, and as I'm sure you've realized by now, this is a Sabbat game. This is Vampire the Masquerade. This is the world of darkness. Tonight, we'll be diving deep into that darkness. I'm going to put 2 fingers up for your content warning for visual sake. This, of course, is your auditory warning. There will likely be some discussion of what to do and how to extract information. It will likely be violent. It will likely be in vivid detail. We, of course, have discussed our lines and veils. We are comfortable, we are safe, and we know our limits. However, you need to take care of yourselves because we care about you. So for the time being, when my 2 fingers are up, this is your content warning. When the 2 fingers go down, the scene will have returned to a safer place to be. You may feel free to rejoin us. We begin again. The scene is yours, gentlemen.
Somebody was saying something.
It was me. I was going to suggest we keep his ears fine. Make sure he can hear everything. Make sure that he can hear the scoffs, can hear what we plan, hear what will happen.
Agreed.
Always been a personal fan of flaying. He'll regrow his skin in a night or two.
I prefer rotting.
He's your captive, Victor. I'm sure whatever you dream up will be enough.
Living of nails. Start from there. Then burning in your flesh is always a good one.
As you discuss this, you can see that Brett is lightly swaying a bit from the momentum still. It's gone slack in a lot of ways, but there's a sound that echoes from beneath the rebar. Difficult to tell what he's saying, although I would allow a roll to kind of interpret his words. Let's call this, for anyone who's curious, let's call this wits and insight.
I'm not even gonna try. I have no interest in anything he has to say at the moment.
I'll go ahead.
Entirely fair.
2 successes.
I'll rouse the blood for this.
Understood.
Do go up to 1 hunger. 5 successes, 4 of them is a crit.
Understood. 5 successes. And how many, Jason?
2.
2. Jason, unfortunately, difficult to tell. Victor, uninterested. Erebus, you can hear him say, through the muffling, you can kind of piece together the words. Not really a full sentence, but the gist of what you get is that he'll happily tell you what he knows. There's no need for this. You can understand that it's quick. It's said quickly, as if trying to persuade, as if trying to stop any pain before it even starts.
He says he's ready to talk, Victor.
Can't trust that.
Can we trust you, Brett?
He nods.
We should at least give him the chance to damn himself, shouldn't we? I do so love it when they squirm.
I did have a cousin. He was always under the belief that you should make sure to test a man before you really get into questions. Any man will say anything to get out before it happens, but a little bit more, just to make sure they knows what will happen, the knows that will continue to happen. It's always a good fear to keep in mind.
Keeping your role, Erebus, as Jason speaks, Brett tries to cut him off, essentially. You hear him muffled and mangled through the rebar. Says something akin to, I'm ready to talk now, you idiots. There's no need for this.
I can't take the bar out of his mouth, Victor. That would be an affront to your authority. Would you mind?
Suppose we should at least let him try honor's sake. But speaking is out of the question. We need pen and paper. Is there any of that here, by chance?
You know,
I got some in my dash, actually. I'll go grab that.
Erebus also pulls his notebook and his pen out of his jacket. Perhaps 2 accounts would serve us. Let him write what he wishes to write, and I'll take notes on his behavior. Is that amenable to you, Primogen Dominguez?
A nod.
Good. Would you like to fetch your pen and paper, Mr. Dorn?
Yeah, I'll go grab it. I walk out, head to the car, get into the dash, grab it, come back. Or just small little notebook.
While
He's
he's
doing
going
that.
out there, I'm gonna look to Erebus. These new Primogen, they just take all the fun out of things, don't they?
The city where they first started calling themselves that. Primogen. Small village in the south of England called Thorns. It was a strange time then.
Gather your materials. Victor, did you take the rebar out of his mouth?
No,
You
I'm gonna
place.
put the paper by his leg where his hand is bound,
Mhm.
give him the pen, and let him write, and I'll move the paper along for him.
Understood. What is the first question you wish to ask him?
How many camis are here?
He writes. It's not as elegant as it would be with his hands entirely free, but he writes. And there is a special flourish to the cursive he gives you. Sort of flicks the pen, holding it still. When it's done, you look written in a relatively nice cursive. Enough to slaughter you.
You are such an idiot. We gave you a chance. We'll bring this back later. I take the pen and paper and I'm going to put it somewhere nearby.
Like splatter zone.
Now I'm going to take the rebar out of his mouth. And before he can speak, I'm going to pull his tongue between his teeth, put his head on my knee, and then slam my fist into his jaw.
Go ahead and give me... Well, actually, I don't need a roll for this. This is a relatively easy task, as strange as it sounds. You do this, and as you begin to do this, you can hear his voice as he begins to try to speak. The moment his lips begin to move, you reach in, grab the tongue, and it's as you say, Victor. You slam down, and you pull back, now free, the tongue of Brett Dominguez, the silver tongue of a toreador, in your palm. Eyes out, there is not a flow of blood. There's a quick burst, and then it stops as he spits and sort of calls, now unable to form words. Erebus, your childer, stirs a bit, shaking the chains.
Erebus will get a handful of that blood and off the floor that he spit out and just pour it into his child's mouth to wet his teeth.
And do this. Reaches up, extends the tongue. Erebus, the transformation has already taken hold. His tongue is a bit longer, a bit more pointed as he laps up. The precious Vitae, not sated, just teased, just tempted. Brett howls. Still able to form some words. The tongue is a key component to many of the syllables in our languages. You can hear him call you cruel. Call you idiots, perhaps? Shakes his head. Just groans in pain.
Did you punish him because you believed he was trying to provoke you, Victor?
No. I punished him because I asked a question and he gave a stupid answer.
The relative intelligence of his answer, I guess, depends on if he truly believes that, and I think he does. You truly do believe there are enough of you to slaughter us, don't you, Mr. Dominguez?
It's a laugh. A nod as he laughs and tries to form words once more that fail him.
He may be an asshole, but an honest asshole he remains.
Before he can try to regrow his tongue, I'm going to put the rebar back in his mouth now.
You do this.
I have to get a new one next time I pull it out. Now I'm going to give the paper and the pen back. We're going to try again. same question. Give me a number. Doesn't have to be exact, but a rough number will do.
He begins to write. Victor, very clearly you can see the writing is not a number. He begins to write a sentence. You may pull free if you wish, or you may see what he's going to say. It's entirely up to you.
I'll see.
He writes to you in that same scrawl. What more could you want from me if not the truth? We are enough to wipe you out. I am not a census taker.
I think it's a fair retort, Victor.
I think it's stupid. They have meetings. He's seen plenty of them. He's talked to them. They brought him in at some point. At the very least, he would know how many Toreadors are here.
Is that what you
Some
asked?
kind of number.
He flicks the pen, holding it between his pinky and his thumb as he holds up and flashes his fingers. 3.
Maybe you're just not asking the right questions, Victor. Like perhaps what exactly their intent with catfishing Derek was.
That's a good question.
Give him back the paper. 2 words. Simple answer this time. We didn't.
So who did?
He writes, the entire Camarilla is against you. We got a call.
Do you know who was communicating with Derek on the computer?
At this, he hesitates. Doesn't begin to write right away.
Oh no, no thinking.
Please
Just
don't
answers.
do that, Mr. Dominguez.
If you're thinking, you're lying. Shame to mess up such a pretty face. And I'm just gonna reach out and start touching his cheek with my fingers.
He winces and tries to pull away. He has right to kill me.
So do we.
The one who was communicating with Derek, you mean?
He nods.
Then it was either the sheriff. Well, it was the sheriff. He said he. And
He was not
the
Forenza.
The prince is the only other one who would have the right to destroy you. So you're saying that Fernando Villarreal is behind this?
Shakes his head.
Then who?
Pauses again, weighing his options.
Literally a push a little bit closer to him this time.
How close, Erebus?
Close enough to skim fangs, but not to sink a bite.
Erebus, I'm gonna grant you some bonus dice to this. I want you to roll me... I'm gonna go ahead and give you your choice of attribute, because there's a lot of attributes that can take place in this roll. But the skill is going to be intimidation.
Normally, I would make a case for manipulation. However, I feel like simply in the way this is being done, that this is a composure roll.
By all means.
Blood is still aroused. 5 successes, messy crit.
Excellent. I think for the time being, it is safe to say that our scene, for you all, dear viewers, is safe. For Brett Dominguez, we'll see. 5 successes and a messy crit. We'll get to your messy crit very shortly. Actually, as a matter of fact, we can get to that right away. The result of your messy critical is simple. The snake is uncoiled. The beast is moving up your spine. You're going to take another level of hunger. Brett has spilled blood. You have been in close proximity. You've smelled it. When is the last time you had the blood of the rose, Erebus? It's right there. But with 5 successes, it's effective. He almost grazes. You can almost feel the force, not of breath, but of that exhale, that bit of air. stale. He begins to write quickly. 2 words. They mean almost nothing to you, Jason. Just nothing to you, Erebus. Well, almost. Nothing at all, actually. To Victor, it pours back a flood of memories, of experience, of betrayal, confusion, rage. Lucius Giuliotto.
That means something to you.
Old boss.
King Lucius. If I remember correctly, he was promoted to the Malkavian's prince in Ohio, wasn't he?
He was promoted beyond, last you heard. He no longer resides in Ohio. There are some saying that he's in California. Others say he is still drifting, but he's been granted a pardon for everything he's done. There are rumors that you may have heard. For Erebus and Victor, I'd like you to roll me either wits or intelligence, and your choice of politics, or we'll call this etiquette, or rather streetwise, I apologize. Streetwise or politics.
I'm gonna rouse the blood. Success. 3 successes.
And then 5 from Erebus. Victor, you know that he left the city. You know that he received some sort of acknowledgement, some sort of grandstanding from the Camarilla proper, the larger bit of table. Erebus, you're aware of who this individual is, though you've never met them in person, and judging from the stories, probably best not to. A wild card, a Malkavian, a difficult person really to pin down. He now serves the Malkavian Justicar directly. He's an Archon now. Handpicked for the events in Ohio. Handpicked and given leave to do what he would choose and like, so long as it is in the best interest of the Camarilla, more importantly, the Malkavian clan.
You're being hunted by an Archon. Perhaps you should take the title of Bishop yet. And so this Archon told you to go and pick up his prey, Mr. Dominguez? Is that it?
He shakes his head and kind of flicks the pen back and forth, ready to write once more.
Is he here?
He shakes his head.
One less problem we have to deal with. For you to know, Jason, he was at one point a false member of my first pack. He killed his sire to join us and then betrayed us. It was a plot from the start. Particular fondness for blowing up buildings with, honestly, I can't even deny it, marvelous contraptions that he would make. A real pain in the ass.
So perhaps we should let Mr. Dominguez fill in the blanks on how we get from Lucius to swinging upside down in a warehouse.
Offer him the paper once more, he writes. He's not here. This didn't have any rhyme or reason. He sent a message to all of us. Lorenza asked for a volunteer.
Do you know me, Brett Dominguez?
Hesitates, and then shakes his head.
Interesting. Well, you have what you wanted to know?
Some of it. A Primogen has much more information to offer. Tell me about your fellow Primogens. everything you know by person. Even the smallest details will help.
Rights. I've cooperated up to this point. Let me down. Get me away from this creature. I will tell you what you need to know.
Fair enough. I'm gonna knock the chain loose and let him fall.
Does the chain rattling to the ground after him?
I'm gonna station him at a makeshift table.
Easy enough.
He's still gonna be chained up, and he's still gonna write. Still blindfolded, still mouth covered.
Jason, would you
Yes.
step outside with me for a moment?
Of course.
So step outside with Jason.
What do you think of this?
No way.
Do you have any questions?
About?
About for Mr. Dominguez. Do you have any questions you want to ask? You've been profoundly quiet.
I think I'll pick up any sort of questions before it gets solved, if we offer.
You should know that he's a liar. He
I'm
does
sure he
know.
is.
He does know me.
He does. How so?
We're acquainted.
In what way?
Toreador have the power of auspex, as I'm sure you know. I'm very sure he's seen me before.
Is there any way you want to go about that? Knowing that he is a liar.
Victor's circus. We're all just monkeys that dance in it, aren't we?
Not sure if I'd go that far. You allows more freedom than I would say a monkey in a zoo.
Perhaps. And yet we are all caged by his ambition. And now we have an Archon to contend with.
It is worrying, but if we can establish ourselves, I'm sure that things will work out.
I would like to see the rest of this matter resolved quickly. The sun waits for no canine.
It will
Grows small.
Tell me, did you chose to be here? Yes?
As much as any of us choose anything. Even for the elders. The paths before us were made by mortals who died hundreds of years ago. We just choose which path that they've already made to take.
You said a lot of words there, but you didn't really answer the question there.
Ask it again in a way that is conducive to a simple answer, then.
Of course. Did anyone order you to join us?
No.
Did anyone order you to come to the city?
I was asked to come here.
May I ask you? Who told you to come here?
Told you no one told me to come here.
May I ask who asked you to come here?
Fiorenza Savona.
Your relation to this person?
There is none. She asked and I came. Curious to what she had to say.
Say anything that you'd find of interest?
She wanted me to get as close to all of you as I could and then kill you. She wanted me to work with Fernando Villarreal, but I find him to be a repulsive toad. And that is where Brett Dominguez saw me. It is who he believes I am.
See, he believes you to be a spy.
Well, I am a spy.
question is, am I your spy?
You've yet to kill us. We will see.
I told you from the very beginning I have no desire to kill you.
No desire versus a need to, a question to. Sometimes we must do what we can't help.
There's always a choice.
You believe that.
I do. I just wanted one of you to know that he's lying. And I think we've left Victor's temper alone in the room, Mr. Dominguez, for too long.
Yeah, they might have burnt his face already. Nothing to say.
Erebus will open the door for Jason. Head back in.
Thank you.
What you gather in the interim, Victor, you may wish to take notes. It gives you the names of the Primogen in Mexico City. Christina Wilcox is the Malkavian Primogen. She is new to Mexico City, asked to come to combat the Savant threat, has been largely useless as far as he can tell. She has a gift for prophecy, is skilled in auspex, and Forenza Savannah has only kept from killing her because of where she comes from. A recommendation from one of her advisors. She has largely sat and watched. Brett Dominguez himself is skilled in auspex and has been providing what bit he can for prophecy and strategy and foresight. Though Christina Wilcox is far beyond Brett's skill and would be far better to consult. Yet she claims to see nothing while she's here. The Nosferatu Primogen, Felicia Pena, is also new and brought in because of skill and negotiation, likely to consult and to sway the pack known as Cain's creatures that you have subverted their leadership, the Nosferatu. She has been consulting with the Nosferatu, and to Forenza's frustration, has been slow to sway anyone to their side. And she's unsure, rather, Brett is unsure if Felicia is slow because of lack of skill or because of the Nosferatus of Mexico City's affiliation to you and their loyalty, or if Felicia herself is caving, collapsing under the weight of her clanmates, swaying her to your side. If she does not produce results soon, Forenza will have her blood hunted. Such is the rumor, of course. Rena Sullivan is the Ventru Primogen. She has been in Mexico City for as long as Forenza has, and is brought in when Forenza was. Rena is skilled in combat and has been given all of the tutelage that Forenza can offer. She is, of the Primogen, aside from Fernand Hawkins, which we'll get to, is the oldest being here, and is the one that knows the city the most, again, aside from Fernand Hawkins. The Tremere Primogen is Irish Wright. He was here a little bit before Forenza. Kept to himself and sought to be alone in Mexico City. To study, to learn, to gather old things left behind and forgotten by the Sabbat. And has picked up arms in order to heed the call to action for Forenza Savannah. He is useful in the sense that he is skilled in blood sorcery, and though he was here before Forenza, he frequently traveled. So this was where he called home, but he was constantly crossing the border into America, traveling down south further. This was his haven, not his home, I guess you can call it. Finally, Fernanda Hawkins, the rumored thin blood primogen, has indeed been made a thin blood primogen. She is a remnant of the thin blood pack that you all had met when you first arrived. She has been the primary source of information for the city, for your dealings, and for how the Sabbat and the mentality of the Sword of Cain operates. She is dangerous because she is skilled in thin blood alchemy and has been useful to Forenza by offering the concoctions, potions, and abilities of her. I guess you really couldn't call them a clan, could you? Brett Dominguez has never met the sheriff, the keeper of Elysium. He gives you a location of Elysium. Only, Victor, if you promise to release him after this. And this is where Jason and Erebus would walk in again. So you are seconds away from this information. You just need to make a choice.
I will relay to them everything that he has told me so far. I would like to ask you another question before the location of Elysium, before I guarantee a release,
Found it.
before any of that is said. I would like to know what you know about us. This should not be difficult, since it really cannot hurt you, or your cause even.
Again, Erebus, Jason, you walk in. There's question before agreeance or denial of Brett Dominguez's request. He begins to write what he knows about you, Victor. The Saints are operating as old Saban, though they are young. The clans are Gangrel, Akata, La Sombra, and now Tremere. Continues. In control of the illegal activity. He writes a number. 78%. He knows that you had run-ins with a hunter or a hunter cell. And then he begins to write locations. Places you've been spotted. And then he writes addresses. A list. Some of you don't recognize. 1. Catches your eye. An old rundown factory. One of Felix's havens. He writes, Felix. Source of information. Target. All in all, after finishing writing, it's up to you to decide how useful the information he has on you is.
Biggest question I would like to know that would have been in this list is, did they know the location of our haven and of Jason, where Jason's ghouls were staying? Were those on the list?
Not on the list, but he writes, we know so where some of the criminal activity is centered. I don't know where your haven is.
If I give you your freedom, what is your intention? Having been gone for this long, the Camis aren't going to trust you anymore. What exactly do you intend to do with said?
He writes, it hasn't even been a full night. They will welcome me.
Battered, bruised, failed in your mission? Sure, welcomed is the right term. I may not be Camarilla, but I do know quite a bit about the way they operate and their politics. You have failed in the request that came from far above you. And you think welcomed the right term?
With all the information laid before you, I'd like the three of you to make a wits and insight roll. Erebus, Jason, you are free to make this roll as well.
I'm gonna rouse the blood. And that one failed.
Bringing you to what level of hunger?
3. 4 successes.
2 4s and a 7.
Oh.
Numbers, Jason, numbers.
Numbers.
What do they mean? Erebus and Victor, you begin to piece things together. There's some questions here that don't make sense. Why the Toreador? Why send him? Not skilled in combat. I mean, perhaps the abilities and presence were what they were banking on. But there's also the fact that he said that Forenza asked for a volunteer. He could be just trying to prove himself. But if this was to be effective, Forenza would have had to agree, which means she sees a strategic move in this. There's also some of the ways he answered questions throughout this process. Most recently, I don't know where your haven is. It's an implication that there's some things he doesn't know. Not in regards to all of you, but perhaps to the inner workings of Forenza and what's going on in the court. Jason, you pick things out. You come from a cutthroat family, and you have the realization before your companions, he's a pawn. He was a sacrificial lamb. A distraction. Not even he knows it. And it's because, Jason, you've been texting Trey, Monique, and Felix, and even Derek. You have this realization that you have him. What do the Camarilla have now, while you've been distracted?
I pull up my phone as I quickly move away and call Derek.
Well, Victor, Erebus, you reach his conclusion as well. And Jason is already making moves, calling Derek. It rings a couple times, and there is an answer. Derek's voice. Jason?
I need you to... Okay. Has there been any break-ins, any alarms, anything like that?
No, everything's fine.
Okay, I need you to do a sweep of any way I can, check up on a few of my assets, check for any moves that we meet going on, sounds that might be going on. They're making moves today, now.
Jason, are you all safe?
We're safe. But the rest, but those who aren't here might not be.
Good. Where are you?
Don't answer that. You're nearby, right? We can hear what you guys are saying. Sorry. Should ask that first.
I'll allow it.
Are you done with Mr. Dominguez, Victor?
Listen, I don't need you to worry about that. What I need you to worry about is checking up on the others.
Erebus, Victor, do you answer Erebus?
I'm gonna go touch the phone real quick before I start answering so that it starts staticking out.
Garbles. You can hear Derek speaking still through broken static and cutting in and out.
I'm gonna whisper to Jason. I'm pretty sure he's being controlled right now. Derek doesn't speak like that. He doesn't do that. That doesn't sound like Derek.
No. Really broke. Outside when he asked me where I was. We could say a different location.
Is the rebar still in Brett's mouth?
Yes.
Did you leave him with paper and pen?
Yes. Well, he can't hold the paper and the pen, so.
Understood.
I think in that time, Erebus would have gotten his new child down and kind of has them by the collar, and we'll kind of walk them over to where Brett is and just check the paper.
All the information is at your disposal, Erebus.
What did you do to make Fiorenza think you were disposable?
Blindfolded and mute, he furrows his brow, and if given the opportunity, begins to write. Nothing. I've done everything she's asked.
And now she wants you dead. She fed you to us.
No. No, the court loves me. The Camarilla of the city love me. She would
Not-
face so much backlash.
Not if a valiant volunteer fell prey to the villainous Sabbat. Then you're a martyr. Been
No.
outthought, Mr. Dominguez.
No. He stabs into the paper with this writing utensil. Bleeding, the ink crumples the page as he comes to grips that he is a pawn.
It will be your blood that baptizes my child. You die now knowing the truth, that it was not hate and conspiracy that killed you. It was love. The love of your court that made you a threat to your prince. And Erebus will let the newborn go.
He is ravenous. Still bound, I'm assuming.
I'll untie his hands. I'll leave his ankles tied together, but I'll let him use his hands.
That's all he needs. He grabs onto Brett, and there is a pained howl that turns into a cry of ecstasy as this new child drinks. He drinks deep.
Let
There's a
him
moment-
Diablerize him.
There's a moment as he feeds that Brett fully gives in. He leans in, almost nuzzling, nurturing this new child as he is consumed. And Brett Dominguez is no more.
As this new child that Erebus doesn't even know their name yet. Erebus will just kneel down and stroke their hair and whisper in their ear, "For this is the altar at which you will blush, font, ambrosia, and alway. In this we are transcendent like our Father before us, and forever will we walk in the shadow."
With a final drink, a deep inhale, pulls back and looks toward the sky, past the roof of the steel mill, past the sky itself, into the stars, into the cosmos. He peers upward, his mouth stained, covered in the blood. He is born anew.
Child. Gods are meant to inhabit. Know that there is only dark, and know that you belong among.
Perhaps through joy, perhaps through sheer morose sadness, the eyes begin to weep. That vitae, the spilling of all this blood, the fresh vitae streaming from his eyes. Would like a rouse check from all three of you, please.
Yes.
That's a skull.
That's a success.
Bringing Erebus to 3 hunger.
Jesus Christ.
The snake, the beast, begins to coil around your spine, now whispering at your ear. Let's be honest, he's never going to make you happy. Better to finish him now in this moment of bliss.
It's true. He served his purpose. Erebus will reach down and grab him by the scalp and bite into his neck.
That's the acolyte. This is path you walk. You drink, Erebus.
Yeah. I'll Diablerize him.
While this is going on, I need to know what Jason and Victor are doing. Derek is still on the phone.
I'm gonna step away after we've whispered.
Sorry about that. At the boss man got a little close. Okay, listen, and alright, listen. Just you remember where we had that where I had that run-in, and with the those little hunters last a while back.
Yes.
All right, yeah, we're over there at the moment. We figured it would be a good place to be done. So if you see the others, just let them know to head there.
There's pause. You can hear Derek speaking. He says, "No, wait." There is a bit of movement over the phone. Why don't you stop lying to me, Jason Dorn? Tell me where you really are and let's finish this. The voice of Fernando Villarreal.
With that, I proceed to put my phone on speaker.
As you do this, Erebus, let's deal with your diablerie first. It's not... I doubt that you will fail this, but it's always good just to double check. Let's have a strength and resolve test, please.
7 with a crit.
You commit the true diablerie. The blood potency is only 1.
2, since they just TM'd Brett.
They would have needed to spend experience on increasing blood potency.
Sick.
I will grant you some fun stuff, because they did just finish. It's just a matter of, like, mechanically speaking.
Sure.
I need you to now make me one more roll of your humanity plus your own blood potency. You must combat the foreign blood in your system and assert control.
That's another 7 with a crit.
Excellent. With that, that is going to be off rip 20 experience from this roll to expend on increasing your blood potency, or any disciplines known by the victim. You just made this childer. The disciplines are... We never really discussed what this creature would have, so I'll give you free reign of your own disciplines, essentially. Given what they had rolled on their diablerie roll, you're going to take 15 extra experience, just for fun shit, because of their lack of spending it. You are also, in this moment, going to lose a dot of humanity.
Okay. Functionally 1.
Functionally 1. Very dangerous, Erebus. Very dangerous indeed.
If only there were people on a path that could show him the way.
If only.
Yeah. He turns to ash in Erebus's mouth. This will just look down at the pile of ashes. You would have drowned in the darkness, you weak and impotent thing. The darkness belongs to me.
You bring yourself to hunger 0 as your beast recedes and coils. Ever the acolyte, ever the faithful, ever the strong.
Erebus will turn to the other 2. What are we doing?
Phone's on speaker, Mr. Dorn.
All right, so then, and Fernando Villarreal, right? Yeah, sounds like you. So, First off, I haven't met you in person, so glad to at least hear your voice. Though I have heard a little bit, just enough to just wonder, you know, how have you lived this long being a 5'2", greasy head, ponytail having, and wannabe?
I don't miss your clan, Mr. Dorn. Never could understand the severity of the situation that you're in, so let me spell it out for you. And you can pass it on to someone who actually understands when they're beaten. I have your ghoul. I have your home. I have your ally. And I will soon have the rest of your pack. You are finished. Come face your true death as honorable men.
Maybe you have forgotten more about being Sabat than I realized. As long as one Sabat still draws breath, we are not beaten.
Then I shall take the life of everyone who shares your false ideology. Kill the boy. You can hear over the phone. Call. Victor, run. Then is cut short by the gurgle of a liquid, blood spilled. Soft thud of a body hitting the floor. I will burn your home now. You will have nowhere left to turn. The day draws nigh. Victor BELLSHANE. You have nowhere left to run. You are not safe. I will call you again when I kill your fucking wolves, your little gangrel friends. The line goes dead.
Where's my phone?
Do not throw your phone away yet. Try to get in touch with them.
I do pull it out one more time, and I check with. I'm gonna check two different contacts. So now I'm gonna check Felix to send a message just saying location, and I'm gonna check on our currently missing packmates. Send them a message also saying. This one's saying, wait, yeah, just update.
No response from Trey or Monique. Felix sees your message, but no response.
Trey and Monique are still out. I'm gonna call Felix.
Did you and Trey ever share locations? Have you enabled that?
No, we didn't. I call Felix.
You call Felix. There's a pause as it rings twice. And Felix answers the phone. Hey, Jason. How's it going?
Could be better. So, important question. How safe are you right now?
Oh, as safe as don't fucking go home. Do not fucking go. You can hear he begins to shout as someone wrestles him to the ground, as someone is wrestling, trying to get the phone. Their ruse already blown.
Mr. Captors, Mr. Captors, you want to pick up the phone for him?
You can hear him shouting. The punching of flesh. You can hear him scream as some sharp implement pierces. Not enough to torpor him, it sounds like. The line goes dead.
Well, looks like everyone's getting captured. And everything's messing up.
Maria has you in check, Mr. BELLSHANE. It's not checkmate. Not
Burn
yet.
this entire city to the fucking ground.
For what? So that you can be bishop of a wasteland? How does it serve you? Think, Victor.
I'm going to send a message to Felix his phone again. This time it just says, "Can I have the honor of knowing who managed to capture our illustrious friend?"
Jason, I very rarely allow these types of things, especially over text message, but I'm gonna have you make a roll. Let's call this manipulation persuasion.
I'm gonna rouse the blood for that. That's a success. 3 successes.
There's no reply.
Location. Don't have a haven. Well,
Did they
Then I
slaughter the warriors?
I assume I have their phone number. Do I have their phone number? I don't actually know right now.
I would say you have a couple of the members.
All right, I'm gonna call them up. Just one of them.
As we've not determined who your contact is, I have a brief roll. You call or you text?
I'm gonna just call.
You call. There's a response. It picks up very quickly. What the fuck do you want?
Oh, well, I'm glad that your first question wasn't where are you at, or don't go to your haven.
We're a little fucking busy. What do you need?
Quick question. You under attack by anybody?
Yeah, you could have said that like about 20 minutes ago. We're recovering. Why?
Just glad you're alive. Yeah, we're finding attacks all across. Just trying to make sure who's alive and who's not.
Great.
How bad is the damage?
We're fucked.
You willing for a meetup?
I don't know where we can go. They're burning the mall.
Burning them all your havens, or
They're burning the mall.
oh, mm. Jesus Christ, they're really going ahead today, aren't they?
There's room enough here for everyone. We're going to stage an assault tomorrow night. We should do it from here.
All right. So check this out. I'm gonna say, bring any of you guys that you still can over to. I'll just send you the address. Bring them over here, and we'll go from there.
Sure.
All right. You be safe.
Go fuck yourself.
Gotta love me the Warriors. And end the call. Do I have a DOS phone number?
Excellent question. I would say probably not. Though, one among you does.
Hey, do either of you happen to have a number to the NOS? Big, I'll check up on them too.
Erebus will pull out the phone that he took from the NOS.
You do this.
I don't know who you'll find on the other end, but there was only one number saved in it. Only assume. And now Trey's number is in there as well. It's the one that isn't Trey, in case you were confused.
Okay, just to make sure.
Erebus will toss the phone to Jason.
Which, who did you say you got this one from?
From a Nosferatu who threw it away.
Cammy one, or?
Stop to ask. He was talking to Fernando Villarreal's mortal girl, who I now think we should have killed the other night. But hindsight is 20/20.
And torture, and then probably remove the nails, make sure all that. We'll go from there. And I'm just gonna call that number.
Rings thrice. Richard, where the fuck have you been?
Do I recognize that voice at all?
No.
Gotcha. Pretty sure my phone's been on like speaker this whole time, like each time I'm making calls. If anyone else happens to recognize that.
No one that you guys would recognize. Save. Erebus, how associated were you with the NOS?
Tangential business.
Probably no one here knows who this is then.
This isn't Richard. Richard threw this phone away a few days ago. You might know of me, but I don't know you.
Yeah?
Who's your contact within the Nosferatu, Jason?
As the Saints scour their notes.
I was like, my contact? I have a contact?
One of you
I
does.
honestly do not have. Norman's the only one that I know. I don't know who their new boss was.
Oh, wait, Gnome.
Gnome?
Gnome, as an N-U-L-N. I have that written. I'll be honest, the only thing I've written is Gnome, Nas, who is informant. That is entirely what's written.
I think you might
Sure, you
have
didn't mean Norman?
I think you might have misspelled Noel.
I mean, you know what? That could be it.
I'm looking to speak with Noel.
Shit. They're out right now. Are you... Can I ask who I'm speaking with?
Erebus.
Shit. What do you need?
Depends on what Noel can offer.
Like I said, they're out on business, surveillance mostly, but I'm
Surveilling
always...
the Camarilla burning Sabbat havens. Is that what they're surveilling tonight?
You know more than you let on.
Tell them to come to the abandoned steel mill outside of town. The Saints are waiting.
They're alive?
Hang up the phone.
And the call.
You have to leave the Nosferatu with some mystery to scent, or they'll never actually show.
Yeah, it sounds about right. All right.
How long do
Well.
we have till daybreak?
Mere hours at this point. You will likely be able to get everyone there, rest for the day, and then begin your questioning and your assessment the next night.
Need
I
you to
definitely
prepare
don't
for
have
something,
time to
Victor.
go fucking scour for Monique and Trey.
Need you to prepare for something. Sure.
Claim Bishop.
I assumed you'd already prepared for that. You'll need to make warriors. Tonight has taught us anything. It's that Brett Dominguez was more than honest. They outnumber
Sure.
us. And in this moment, they've outplayed us. To mass embrace.
They've done
Fight
a lot
them.
more than outplay us.
They took something from you and told you to turn it.
We'll have to consider our priest and packmate dead.
I wouldn't count out the gangrel. They're survivors.
I don't want to be the one to say it, but Erebus might be right on mass embracing. We'll need an army.
It. Archramir.
I already told Jason, but I figure now's the time to tell you since the blow has already been struck. I revealed myself to you because Fiorenzo wanted me to.
They wanted you to.
Fiorenzo asked me to come here. He asked me to work with Fernando to destroy the Saints.
You better say something else real fast.
So why are you telling us this now? Specifically, why are you telling us this when you know that you have the highest chance of being killed?
Because now's the honest moment.
Is this place a trap as well?
No.
And this you swear.
Although it would make a good trap, it isn't one. I tell you this now to afford you the opportunity that I can offer.
And what opportunity is that? that is not already corrupted by your past dealings.
I can go to Fiorenza. I can walk in the door. She's waiting for me.
Then you've completed your task.
Well, no, you're all alive.
As far as we know, we only
Are
have
you
about
the reason
two
she
of
has so much information?
No. All of the information that I've gathered on you, proprietary to me and me alone. But everything that I knew about you those first 2 nights that we spent together was all the information I had learned from Fiorenza. What I knew about you, what she knows about you.
So,
So, what I suggest is this. Have your mass embrace, make your soldiers. Send them to war. And I will bring Victor BELLSHANE's staked body, Fiorenza Savannah. And we'll kill her. The rest of you will need to find a way to obfuscate yourselves. But there will be no alarm to me walking into her haven. She's expecting me. I can offer you an opportunity to shoot your shot while her
Not to-
walls are down.
not to insult you, but just walk in there. Obfuscate maybe, but still walk in there with one of our strongest already staked. It sounds like you just want to deliver some silver platter to get extra credit. No offense, of course. Whether that is your plan or not, it is likely.
No, that's exactly what I want it to look like. But the truth is, I don't like petty. I don't like politics. None of this interests me. Role tiring. If you want my true estimation of all of you saints, I am a god in your ants beneath my feet. But I've grown, changed. You interest me. And I think for the first time in many years, I might actually believe there are Canaanites that exist. Aren't fucking intolerable. You all have your scheme, your things you want. I want the world to bend at the knee, worship at my altar. Unconcerned with the petty maneuverings of vampires. I believe that you're onto something. And I want to help you get it.
And why the hell should I trust you or anything that comes from your mouth when you've just told me you came from her?
The only other option you have is to kill me, and that seems counterproductive. And I think there's a part of you that's not even sure if you can.
There is no part of me that doubts whether or not I can.
Interesting.
Perhaps maybe a way for us to build trust. Binding you to us in a way.
I've already drank Victor's blood. What else is there? Is this not the ancient rite of our people?
You leave more questions with every word you speak.
You all have to make a decision. And I can aid you, or I can be your enemy. That is wholly dependent on the choice that you make. And it would grieve me, in a way, to be your enemy. But you wouldn't be the first organization that I've had to put down that I believed in their cause.
Problem is that if we are your enemy, then we would be your last. Would not leave this room. This, I swear.
Swearing only makes it hurt when you fail.
Enough. Time to think.
Now that I agree with.
You take time to think. Time passes. The remainder of your allies streams in. The remnants of the warriors. Nosferatu arriving unseen. And although Cain was away from us, we did feel his careful eye watching us, and we knew that he marked our movements and our ways. This is where we'll close tonight's episode of Book of Saints. Well done, everyone. What happened to the Gangrel, the Tremere, Felix, all of it, perhaps seen very soon. But for now, we're going to go around the room, let everyone know who you were, who you are, where people can find you, all that good stuff. We'll begin with Erebus Kai.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Avery, at Avery DuBois on all the social media platforms. I am a community ambassador right here on the Rolling Nomads. You can catch me in Berlin Bloodlines as Unsrugen Edgar Waite. You can catch me as the storyteller on all 10 episodes of Transylvania Beckons, which are up on our YouTube channel. And, you might sometimes see me other places doing other stuff as well. But this evening, I have been the Daring Devil, Erebus Kai.
I'm Jared. I'm playing Jason Dorn. I'm a figment of your imagination. That's all for now.
I am Warren, and I play Victor BELLSHANE here. And I also play Curious Spirit in our D&D campaign. That's pretty much all I got, so.
Excellent. We, of course, have been the Rolling Nomads. You can find us right here on twitch.tv/Rolling Nomads. It's where all of our actual plays and such live. Our schedule's up to date, so we're all squared away. We have a YouTube channel where these episodes go up 4 days after air date. I'm catching up because obviously, as you can see behind me, I've moved, so I have to do catch up. But that's on youtube.com/Rolling Nomads. It's where you'll find all of our actual plays and all of our episodes and such. Yeah, we are also on Twitter and Blue Sky. Twitter @_Rolling Nomads and Blue Sky @Rolling Nomads. So you'll find our cancellations, our late starts, our announcements, our new programming, all the announcements that we do for all of our stuff over on our Twitter and our Blue Sky. We, of course, are on TikTok for highlights and key moments from these episodes that you might find enjoyable. Head over there if you liked a particular moment, and it's probably over there. If not, then you'll probably put on something for your morning commute, a new episode, a new chronicle, a new story, whatever you'd like to call it. That's TikTok, Twitter, Blue Sky. We're on Instagram @_Rolling Nomads. Things are coming to that. I think that's everything. Am I crazy? Is that all of it? I think that's all of it. Yeah, that's us in a handbasket. We really appreciate you. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you guys next time. Same time, same place, same canines. We'll see you then.